Hello grade 12s. Today I'm working through some past papers. A good idea to see what type of questions to expect for your final exams. Today I'm looking at the 2021 final paper 2. I'm going to be looking at the mechanism. Now what you might remember is that the mechanism didn't happen for a couple of years. There was a new examiner in 2018, and for a couple of years the mechanism wasn't asked. It made its return in 2021, and this is the one that we're working on here. And the mark allocation is 15 marks. Try and work on completing this in 15 minutes as well. So here is the question. They have given us some information, and you've hopefully read through the instructions. Now my first step is to work on the construction, and the construction is going to be to take the circle, and this is the whole point of Loci, is what happens as something rotates in a circle. So what we're going to be doing here is putting in our divisions on 30 degrees. I refer to those as your pizza slices. The clue for this drawing was given to you on this side here, where they've given you the circle, they've given you the rod, and they've given you the semicircle. So what we want to do over here then is put in a semicircle with this radius of CD. So there are the first two things I want to do, is to put in my constructions of the pizza slices and then draw my semicircle. So there I have put in a couple of things. So there's my direction. So as far as my mark allocation is concerned, I've already got that. My construction, so there are my pizza slices, and when I'm going to project now to mark off on my semicircle, I should hopefully get my other mark. Now I do like to label. They've said this is going in a clockwise direction, so I'm just going to label in the same manner. We won't be like a cam where you have to label in the opposite direction. This isn't going to make a difference. Now we just need to understand what's happening here. So as our rod is attached to B and to C, it then moves to the next point, and B and C must remain in contact, and then we're going to see what happens to the end of point P, and we're then plotting where each new point P will be. So this could be referred to as P0, this would be C0, and we now need to go and find for each of the remaining points. So our key distance here is to take our BC distance, which remains the same. So there is my BC distance, and I now move it on to my first point. So there is where it is as B1, and I'll make a mark over here, which then gives me where C1 is. Now in my construction it tells me that the distance from C to P is a distance of 50. So what you can do now is line up C1 with B1, and what you're going to do then is you're going to extend that line a distance of 50. So there it's at 20, I need to extend it to where it hits here at 70. That's my distance of 50, and that gives me then where P1 will be. I repeat the same process. So I now go to point 2, and I'll make an arc to cut, and this is going to give me C2. Again, line up the points. There is C2, B2, and I need to extend that line a distance of 50. And that now gives me P2. Our next point, P3. So So I'm going to mark off where 3 is. Here is where C3 is. Line up C3 with B3. And I want to extend that line a distance of 50. So there is my distance of 50. And that's giving me P3. Next is point 4. So there's point 4. Draw my arc. There is where C4 will be. Line up C4 with B4 and extend that line 50 to give me point P4. Now you'll notice I'm just extending this little piece here. You can do the whole thing, but again, when you're trying to save time, I'm cutting that out just to save a few seconds. Here is 5, so C5, line up C5 with B5 and extend that line 50. There is 50 giving me P5. Next I go to point 6, mark off. There is point C6, line up C6 with B6 and extend that line 50, and there is P6. 7, here's P7, line it up with B7 and extend that line 50. There is P7. And it's just repeating the process, and that's exactly what a mechanism would do. So there's P8, sorry, it's not P8, that's C8. Line up B8 with C8 and extended that distance of 50. There's P8. Now, a way that you could speed this up is if you did a few more of these arcs. So you might have labeled your arcs. So if I do these next 3 where I just draw the arcs. There's 10. There's 11. So by doing that you could just maybe speed up your thing, but your drawing, but you want to make sure that you've labeled this so that you don't get confused. There was 11, line it up with 11. Again, you don't need to draw the whole line, but there I have, and there was P11. Now I know P12 is going to be the same point there. This is 10. Okay, I've lost 10. Just check there. Yeah, there's 10 here. Line up 10 with 10 and extend 50. There's P10. Okay, so here I've got 12, 11, 10, 9 I've still got to do. So there's 9. Line it up, extend There's P9. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we've got this little curve coming around here. So try and line those points up. So this is curving around. Let's stop curving on this hole. Okay, and there is our completed locus. So have we plotted the 11 points? Yes, we have. Have we drawn the locus? Yes, we have. So hopefully there is our completed drawing of the 2021 mechanism, the return of the mechanism in the IEB paper. I have finished that drawing in 303, which means that I have saved 5 minutes, which I could add on to another drawing.